Your 20s is the decade where everyone is telling you to build, achieve, and figure out who you are. So when something crumbles, whether it's a job, school, a relationship, even your sense of self, it feels like proof that you're already behind, that you've wasted your chance. But here's the truth. Failure is not a detour from your 20s. It is your 20s. It's part of the process of becoming. If you avoid it, you avoid growth. But if you embrace it, it will teach you things that success never could. I'm Angelene, I'm 24 years old, and today we're talking about the thing that most people forget to mention in their success stories, and that is failure. And not the filtered version that many people sugarcoat and not fully get into, but the raw, messy, and painful kind that does everything it can to persuade you that you're not enough and that you should just give up. I've failed so many times in my 4 years of being in my 20s already. I've witnessed so many failures alongside me. I know what it's like to lay on the floor, haven't eaten, alone, sobbing, praying for an answer of any kind, anxious for a breakthrough, and a way out of a never-ending cycle of trying and trying and trying and failing all over again. So in this video, I wanted to give the 5 brutal lessons that failure taught me in my 20s. Failure by ChatGPT is when something doesn't work out the way you wanted or expected. It can mean missing a goal, making a mistake, or falling short of a standard, but it doesn't mean the end. It's part of the process of learning and growing. It shows you what doesn't work, builds resilience, and teaches humility. Many people only find success because they failed first. In short, failure isn't the opposite of success. It is part of it. The first lesson that failure taught me, it is identity that is built on achievement will crumble. When you tie your worth to external things like your grades, your career, your status, being perfect, failure feels so dark. In order to get through the things that I went through in my life, I had to learn that I am not what I do. The way that I think about failure might be different from the way you do or other people do. It's influenced by the way that we grow up, how failure looked like in your life and what you've seen failure look like in your life as well. Even the way you internalize failure. Like if you make a small mistake and you call yourself a failure, you have a very rigid relationship with failure and you have a hard time with your self-worth, your self-love because of the way that it's tied and entangled with failure to you. And look, you need to let go of these outdated beliefs about failure. I do fear failing in my life. I'm afraid that the fear of failure will get the best of me. The more that I tie myself to those external things, like if I'm going to have enough money or if I'm going to be able to travel the world, tying myself to these external things means that if these things don't work out, that is a direct reflection of me and my self-worth. Some things just aren't going to work out. Some things are just not meant for me in life, or they're meant for me at specific times in my life. Like the timeline is different than what I intended it to be, and that's just how it's going to play out in my life. I mean, I've went through a lot of things that I feel like I could have done better in, or if I had done XYZ, it would have been different. At the same time, that's how life works. And I had to let go of the expectation for everything to work out exactly the way I wanted it to. Otherwise, it's a direct reflection of me. And it's not, because I'm here to do the things. I'm not here to be the things. I'm here to be myself and work on the things that I need to do and not be tied to a specific standard or a specific status, because that doesn't define me and that doesn't define you either. The reality is you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. So at that point, it's time to pivot. It's time for redirection. It's not telling you that you're not enough or that you're not worthy. It's telling you that there's something not aligned here. Lesson number 2 that failure taught me is about relationship views. It taught me that people will leave, but that's not the end of me. Some people truly only love you for the version of you that's winning. So failure shows you who's really in your corner. And you're talking to a girl that's trying to be a content creator. There's people in my hometown that obviously know me. I've been making YouTube videos since I was literally in 8th grade, and I've had many different channels, had many different phases of myself. All those eras of my life have failed, and now I'm here creating this channel, I'm trying all over again. There's so many people in my life that has seen me in my endeavors fail. And look, it doesn't define me. I'm still here. This is what I'm passionate about. And the people who are still there for me, who still support me in this endeavor and don't like judge me for the fact that I'm trying. People always want to know you for your success stories, but they don't want to know you during the climb. The right people don't leave you in your darkest moments or in your trying times. The right people stay with you in your darkest moments, in your winning moments. Failure showed me that you can love somebody for so many years and they will still leave you. That doesn't mean the end of you or your story. I went through many breakups in my life, friendships, relationships, family, ties. I've seen my parents get a divorce, but even all of these things are still not the end of your story. Because you went through a breakup, because you saw your parents go through a divorce, that doesn't mean that you're doomed or you just have to give up on love. You have to give up on your dreams. If people leave you, that's not the end of you. It might hurt for some time or for a long, long time. At the end of the day, you're still there. You still exist with you. And this is showing you a lesson that needed to be learned in your life, or it's redirecting you for something else, a new chapter, a new story. And the right people will naturally come to you and stay by your side. The third lesson that failure taught me is that control is an illusion. Control is a trauma response. I've had planners since middle school. And that's not even the first planner I got this year. I had an even bigger planner for the beginning of this year because I thought I was going to be so much more like put together if I had a bigger planner. But then I realized it was way too much for me. So I got an even simpler planner mid-year. I thought that if I planned hard enough, I was very particular and very precise with my days and very on point all the time. And I worked hard enough that I could avoid failure. But life doesn't work that way. I had to learn to adapt. I got used to planning and planning and planning. I got so used to the plans not going according to plan, or even something I planned last week for this week isn't gonna work out anymore because something happened and I don't have time or I didn't feel good. So I had to change everything up. I just got used to things not going to plan and adjusting. I don't know if this is just like my brain working in weird ways. Things just don't go to plan. You literally have to adjust daily. Prioritize your schedule and prioritize the things that need to be done. Even though that made me feel like I wasn't achieving things, as long as I'm getting up and I'm getting some things crossed off and I have a vision in my head for the things that I want to get done and I take a few steps forward, that is what really truly matters. And me saying that control is like a trauma response, that it's an illusion, I think that I just wanted to grip so tightly to my days, to the things I needed to do, and make sure I was on top of everything because I was afraid to fail. A lot of times in my life, there's a lot of unexpected things that's happened that have kind of like traumatized me in a way, and I had no control over it. I had no control over what happened, or I would have to carry the weight of the pain of the people I would love the most. I didn't have control over taking it away from them or getting them out of that situation. So I think this whole planning thing is a way for me to like try to regain control so that I know exactly what's going on every day. And I still struggle with this at times because I am not perfect. I think this is just a very long time learned response of mine. It's not as bad as it used to be. The only thing in your control is yourself, your mind, the way that you perceive and handle things. That's literally the only thing you're in control of. No matter how many planning, how many prepping you do, there's always something that could go wrong, but you have complete control about what you want to do about the situation and how you want to internalize it and respond and react. The fourth brutal lesson that failure taught me in my 20s is that shame is heavier than the mistake itself. I've seen how heavy shame can really break a person. It is so heartbreaking, the fact that shame is not talked about enough, and especially with guys, especially with men, because guys internalize things differently, right? And I've learned that guys carry shame so harshly. That's not to say that girls don't carry shame. Where my experience comes from is I've experienced somebody that carries shame. I've learned so much about shame. If the mistake is, oh, I messed up in counting how many paper clips are in this jar, you just recount it, right? But the shame behind it is, I messed up counting how many paper clips are in this jar because I'm a terrible person and I never get things right. I'm not the smartest in the room, and that makes sense because everybody else is smarter than me. Like, that's where the shame comes in. Some people internalize shame so harsh. Just because you make those mistakes, that doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. You're not a terrible person, and you shouldn't be tying your self-worth to your performance. Shame can make you feel like you're hiding your pain under hope as well. There's a part of you that feels like, if I don't mess this up, like if I can just count the paper clips in this jar, then it can prove to myself that I'm a good person. And if you slightly get it wrong, you disappoint yourself wholeheartedly. Owning up to your failures and understanding them, not internalizing them too deeply, owning it really set me free, and it really let me kind of see myself in a new light. I think the best way to put it is that I think of myself, or I think of another person, like if somebody I'm close to, I think about the child version of ourselves. Would I look at myself as a baby, as a 4-year-old, and be like, hey, you can't count this jar, that means you're a terrible person, by the way. You're still that person, you're still that little kid inside of you, and you need to take care of that kid. Shame is a whole nother topic. We can get into that in another video if you'd like. For now, I want you to try to let go of these expectations and be more realistic instead of pessimistic. And the 5th and final lesson is that failure taught me that I can rebuild every single time. The truth is, every time I failed in my early 20s, I thought it was over. And every time I proved myself wrong. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's the foundation. I know it seems like you'll never get out of there, you'll never get your footing, but I just want you to know it's a slow and steady process, and it's not the end, okay? It's a canon event. It's a moment for you to feel your feelings and recenter yourself and get back up even better. I know this might sound crazy, but failure is not your enemy. And once you reframe this mindset about failure, you'll be able to internalize failure a totally different way. I swear, every time I fail, yeah, it does suck. Like, damn, like I kind of wish that worked out. But it taught me so many things about myself, about the situation I was in, about how I can be better. And it's always led me to become a better person. And failure is not against you. It's there to show you what could happen or what will happen if it's not the right path for you. If you aren't ready to enter this era of your life, if you've outgrown this area, failure is a teacher and so is success. And I'm truly a believer that if you're not ready to walk through those doors, if you're not the version of yourself that deserves to walk through those doors or that's ready to walk through those doors are not going to open for you. I was not the version of myself that was ready for the bigger things in life. I thought I was, but I still needed more time. I still needed more work. I still had more things to learn. I still had more situations to go through, places to see, things to do. And hopefully I am now. If I'm not, this will be another stepping stone in the right direction. Success is not the overarching goal, believe it or not. It's actually another step to where you're going. It doesn't end there either. Just like success teaches you what's working, failure teaches you what's not working. I might not understand your pain, specifically how you are internalizing it. What I can say is that you have the right to acknowledge it, feel the pain from it, and then get back up and figure out what you need to do to keep going. And I want you to remember that there's always another way. Today's journal prompt is, what failure am I still carrying? And what lesson could it be trying to teach me? What's the worst thing that could happen if I fail? What else could come from it? Let us know in the comments or journal it on your own, whatever you'd like. I want to say thank you so much for watching this video, for tuning in today. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Help me get this video and this channel out to many other people who need to hear this. For a more intentional you, hit subscribe. And if you like videos like this, here is another video talking about some lessons I've learned about love and relationships in my 20s. I'll see you there. Bye.